Well, welcome everyone to Love vs. Hate. My name is Anne, and I am your old-fashioned nerd.
And I'm Emily, your mainstream millennial.
And on this podcast, Emily and I like to debate and argue about all the things that we love and that we hate.
And sometimes we don't agree. Actually, most times we don't agree.
This is very true. But today actually marks kind of a special event for us. It's our 50th episode.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, I was just thinking about what I used to do on my Thursday nights, because we record on Thursdays. And like, what the heck did I do before this? It feels like we've been doing this forever.
Yeah, and honestly, I told Emily, I'm like, I probably was like watching anime or, doing some other nerd thing, prepping for D&D. But yeah, I really can't remember what else I would have done besides this podcast. It's been about a year, actually. Okay, so technically, I was like stammering there. Technically, we started the idea of this podcast in July of 2019, but we didn't release our first episode until August. So I don't know when our anniversary is.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact date of like the inception of the idea. But yeah, August 7th is definitely the first episode launch date.
Okay, we'll just count that as our anniversary.
So yeah, it's almost our 1-year anniversary. How special is that?
So special.
We're gonna have to do something fun for you guys on social.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And also we're gonna do some fun birthday week. We've got some plans coming for you guys for sure.
Oh yeah, and then we also have some bonus content, which we'll talk to you guys a little bit later on in the episode too.
Yes. So you will definitely be able to check that out. But in the meantime, we're going to just kind of dive into and kind of give you guys a brief history of how we became the nerd and the millennial. And I guess I'll just start. So if you guys didn't know, I'm a huge nerd. Duh, it's in the title. That's why I say it every episode. And for me, it really started ever since I was a kid. I mean, my parents, they raised me on like Star Trek and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and all the sort of classic nerd, interests and that sort of thing. And then even my siblings too, like my brother, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and all 3 of them kind of opened up different nerd venues for me. Like my brother really loves like Red versus Blue, and he got me into D&D, and so like he kind of opened up that stuff. My sister's a huge like comic book fan, as well as my brother. Honestly, like my siblings and I are all very different, but our interests are actually pretty similar, which is really nice. So we can connect on a lot of nerd things. And so we introduce each other to a lot of nerd things. My other brother, he always recommends all these amazing books. And my other, one brother got me into video games. Like, it just, like, it goes on for forever. So it was my siblings and my family that definitely introduced me to the nerd of everything. And they're a large reason why I also don't have, I think a lot of mainstream nerds like Pokemon, and they like Magic the Gathering, and they like these sort of card games. That's one thing I've never gotten into, and it was because my siblings were never into it. Like, that was the one thing that they didn't really get into as kids. And anime too. Like, I didn't get into anime until college, actually. And so I kind of definitely opened my horizons a little bit. And I actually kind of, even though my brother had kind of watched anime before, I kind of introduced him to that a little bit too. And my sister, for sure, I definitely introduced to anime. So we just like fed off of each other a lot. And so that's really, it was all in my upbringing. And I've always loved it, and I've never been ashamed of it. And nerddom is life, man. I love it all.
Yeah, well, I would definitely have to say I did not have the same upbringing as you.
Yeah.
I think a large part of why I'm a mainstream millennial is because I didn't have any brothers to like know all the nerd stuff. And which, not saying that only guys are nerds, because Anne, hello, she's a girl. She's a nerd.
Thank you. We exist.
And but yeah, I had an older sister, and she was definitely like a girly girl. She was into shopping and all that. So I definitely was more into shopping. And I would say growing up, like in middle school, I was probably more of like a tomboy, but I still had like a little bit of a girly girl part in me. Like I played soccer on like a co-ed team, and my friends weren't like super girly, but I still loved shopping. And also I think a big part of it is in middle school and high school when everybody had MySpace or Facebook or whatever the heck was going on, or texting even. I didn't have that. My parents were not wanting me to be online. They didn't want me to text. I didn't have texting or any of that until high school, like junior year. I didn't have Facebook until junior year. And so I was kind of obsessed with like media and what everyone was doing online. And I think that was probably a reason why I was really into music and what was on the radio and all this stuff that I could get access to, which was all mainstream. I guess that makes a lot of sense. I never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that was one thing, like, in my family, we were always, like, I was always listening to my brother's music. Like, he played the Beatles all the time and Bob Dylan, and my mom was really into kind of, like, folk music, and so she would play, like, John Denver. Although John Denver is more, I guess, like, he's kind of a weird country folk mix. But, yeah, like, I definitely never had my own opinions until I got older in terms of like interests. Like I just absorbed what my parents and older siblings were showing me, and I was like, yeah, more, I love it.
Yeah. The way that you're shaped also depends on who you're spending time with, and definitely in high school, I was spending more time with like the people who are into shopping and like the same kind of stuff that I was interested in, and like taking pictures and dancing and singing. And so I definitely think that their interest like became my interest and my interest became their interests. So it all depends on who you're hanging out with too and what you're all into.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I guess that's one part where I differ a little bit, because I've always kind of been someone who's gets along with people pretty easily, and I've always had kind of like multiple friend groups. And so it wasn't really until like all of my friends kind of had some bit of nerd that they liked, but really only I feel like my family, because like literally we watch like old British like TV shows, and like we would watch like old black and white movies and TV shows, and like there's a lot of deeper nerdom that I don't even always get into because it's like way out there. But listener, if you like old British TV shows, please hit me up on our social. I will talk about it. Like if you've ever watched like Jeeves and Wooster, or Yes Prime Minister, or Yes Minister, or even like Keeping Up with Appearances, like let me know, we can chat. Anyway, yeah, so that was like one side where I didn't really ever find that in my friends. Like it was a pretty specific thing with my family.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I've ever met anyone as nerdy as you and your whole family. Like, your whole family. I feel like you're like, oh, I got this for my sister for Christmas, and actually, like, I'm super interested in it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And you're like, yeah, we're all super into this. And I'm like, I've literally never heard of that. But cool.
Glad you're happy. I know. Yeah, do you feel like, do you see the thing too, like, do you keep up with the mainstream stuff? Like, how do you feel about always having to keep up with it?
I definitely don't anymore because I don't listen to the radio really. There used to be a website, I don't even remember what it's called, but it basically was just like your mainstream. It was basically a gossip magazine but online format. And okay. So I would go on it like every day or multiple times a week and just like check what all these celebrities were up to. It was kind of crazy. I wonder how much time I wasted on that website.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder like how much time I've wasted playing like Skyrim and Morrowind, and I'm like, actually, you know what? I don't think I want to know that.
Yeah. So I think now I'm more into like Instagram, and I don't really follow celebrities as much as like influencers and like people who have interests in the same things that I do, like fashion and like hair for curly hair style stuff, and just stuff that I'm actually interested in that I can take value from. I used to be so obsessed with music, like literally every day or any time in my free time I would be listening to music and finding new music, and I still love music and I love making playlists, but it's not anything like it used to be.
Yeah. And I do think like what you said on earlier with Instagram and following influencers, like that's the like that's what mainstream millennials do, definitely, is following people who give out tutorials or share products that they like, and like following an influencer is like huge for our age and for millennials.
Yeah, like it's a career now to be an influencer. It's crazy.
Yeah. Or to be a content creator. Yeah. It's like it's very different. For sure.
Definitely.
Well, Emily, should we get into how we met and how we started this podcast?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we might have touched on this in like some other episodes, but we're going to go in depth, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
where do we start?
Well, I was working at our company like a year before Anne came into the picture. And I remember I was kind of like the person who would greet the people who would come in for their interviews. And so I was just out in the open, and in comes Anne, and she's wearing some, I think they were maroon, like pants, colored jeans. And I was like, this girl, she seems really nice. I haven't said anything to her yet, but she just seems nice. She's just giving me some sort of energy. And so I'm going to like tell her I like her pants. So I was like, hi, I like your pants.
And I was like, aw, thanks. It actually made me feel really good because I was definitely nervous going into this interview. So you totally made me feel much better.
Yay, that was my goal. And then I was like, oh, you can sit down and wait. So then we were just like kind of sitting across the room from each other, like not talking. I don't think we said anything else.
No, I think you offered me water and that was it. And I think I took you up on it. I was like, oh yeah, water would be great. And then that was it. Although I can even go back a little bit earlier because I had applied for this job and I was really nervous about it because it was kind of it was the first job in my field, in the industry, that I actually went to school for. Previously, I'd been working at a movie theater and just kind of more realtor / customer service jobs. So I was really nervous about it, and I had sent in my application, and then I got an email from Emily.
Oh.
And it has like, and it had your like picture, because on your like signature we have our images. And so like I remember seeing that and being like, oh my gosh, she looks so nice. I totally like could work for this company, like, and I could tell you were my age, so I was like, oh, like they hire young people. And so I was like, it made me more excited and like made me think I could actually get the job.
Oh, good. I totally forgot I emailed you.
Yeah, because we had to set up. First it started with emails, and then we met in person. So it was very brief interaction, and then basically after the interview I remember like leaving, and I had met with another coworker of ours at the time, and then I pretty much left, and over the course of the next couple weeks ended up getting the job. And I remember when we actually like kind of met for more officially for the first time, I had come in and it was just we were kind of doing like a little meet and greet, and I like sat down, and our boss, he kind of opened it up and was like, oh, why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself? And I was saying how like I enjoy reading books and like I like Harry Potter. And then he's like, oh, you're going to get along great with Emily. She likes to read too. And Emily, have you finished Harry Potter yet?
I don't think I had finished. I was probably on like the second to last or the last book. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm reading Harry Potter right now. And like, it's been taking me 4 years to read the books or however long it took me.
I know. And I'm pretty sure I immediately was like, oh, I loved those books. They were really fast reads. And then you're like, yeah, it's been like 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
Can I just say, in my defense, I wasn't only reading Harry Potter for the 4 years. I was reading lots of other things. Okay. I just needed to say that.
I think you defended yourself well, and it was necessary. So well done. But yeah, I mean, and then like then we started working together, and I think we pretty much clicked for the most part pretty much right away. Like we never really. Oh, Emily, you should actually know. I'm thinking of a specific instance. Like I think you know what I'm about to say.
I don't know. Oh yeah.
We had to, I can't even remember where we were going, but we had to go like pick something up from I think it was like from the UPS or something. And I came with you, and as we were like going up to the UPS store to like grab mail or whatever we were doing, we were like out doing an errand for work, and there was a donut shop next to the UPS, and they had a sign that said gourmet donuts. And I don't know why, but I got so excited. I literally screamed at the top of my lungs, gourmet donuts!
And we were outside in the parking lot, like at least 20 feet away from like the actual stores. And everyone inside the store and the gourmet donut shop literally looked outside at Anne because that's how loud she screamed. And I was like,
I'm pretty loud.
Anne, I've never heard anybody scream that loud before. We're not getting those.
And I was really disappointed. I was like, oh.
Well,
yeah.
It was funny. I think what made it funny is because we were getting props for a shoot and we needed donuts because
that's what it was.
The shoot,
yeah, that's right.
The shoot was for police, and you know, the stereotypical thing is like all police do all day is eat donuts in their cars. And so we wanted to get donuts, and so I think Anne was even more excited when she saw gourmet donuts. But yeah, we did not get those. We went to Quick Trip and got glazed donuts instead.
Yeah, they're like cheap ones. But yeah. I let my true colors shine. I wasn't holding anything back when I screamed gourmet donuts.
Yeah, I was definitely judging Anne. I was like, oh my gosh, my eardrums hurt. It feels like I just went to an hour-long concert. That's how loud her scream was.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And I also remember one day at work, we probably had only known each other maybe a month at this point, and we were like doing a setup. We were like setting up for a blog shoot or something, and we had to get like lights and everything and tripods and all the stuff. And we started talking in accents.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just very natural. Like, it just was really funny, and we were laughing at each other. And then our boss, like, he actually came around the corner and was like, is someone here? And we were like, oh, no, we were just talking in accents. And he was like, oh. And now we do that all the time. We're always talking in accents.
Yeah, we really do talk in accents a lot. And I talk in accents to my mom. And so sometimes I feel like Anne reminds me of my mom. Just like the way she talks and how she does her accents. Just reminds me of my mom. And also, like, whenever we film blogs for work and I'm on camera, I do horrible in front of the camera. And Anne always helps me and guides me. I swear I do so much better when I speak in a British accent on camera than when I speak in just my normal accent. It's weird.
Yeah, I can attest that that's actually true. We literally, like, I told Emily, I'm like, okay, Emily, you're not getting this intro. Just do it in an accent, okay? Just have fun with it. Just go for it. And she nailed it instantly with this accent. I'm like, perfect. Now do it again without the accent. And she couldn't do it.
There's something
and we were just laughing. It was fun. I think it's because it's not the take we're going to use, so there's no pressure in a way. So I think that's part of it. But yeah. But yeah, and then we just we got to know each other more and more. And I mean, when you work with somebody, I see you more than really anybody else in my life.
Yeah, seriously. And we work our office is pretty small as it is, and we have a very small team, so we're all pretty close. But Anne and I share the same office room, and we're literally like 3 feet, just kidding, we're 6 feet away from each other.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
And so it's kind of weird when one of us isn't there. We're like, oh, there's nobody to talk to in an accent.
I know, and there's no one to like, and we also just, like, our work is closely related to each other, like, so a lot of the times there's just a lot that we need to talk about for projects and the things that we're working on, and so there's a lot of work conversation that happens too. And yeah, like, sometimes I just need an easy answer for something. I'm like, Emily, what's this? Or like, I always bother you with all of the things. You're like, You're like an instant dictionary or thesaurus or something. That's not the right word, but index maybe.
I'm an encyclopedia.
Word. Yeah, you basically are. Yes. Of our work, at least. I don't know about like history related stuff.
Oh no, definitely not. That would be you.
Yeah, no. But for our work, 100%. Like, when we're working together, like, I go to Emily for pretty much everything because she's extremely knowledgeable, extremely good at what she does. And I really do love working with you. And also doing this podcast with you.
Same.
Yeah. So.
It's so weird because I feel like I've known Anne my whole life, but I really have only, how many years have I even known you? Like 2 maybe at most?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so when I applied, let's see, that would have been in 2018, the summer, it was June of 2018 when I got officially, like, the job. So, yeah, it's only been 2 years.
How weird.
That's super weird. I know, I definitely feel like I've known you for forever as well.
Yeah.
That's very strange to think it's only been 2 years.
Super strange.
And then, okay, so now you guys have that history of how we met. How did we, I think we've touched on this, like how we ended up deciding to do love versus hate.
Yeah, so I remember Anne and I were just sitting outside at lunch because we always take our lunch breaks together. We're like, hey, are you hungry? I'm hungry. And we're like, yes, I'm hungry too. Okay, where do we want to eat today? And so we were sitting outside enjoying the lovely weather. And we were just talking. I don't even know what we were talking about. Probably just either. Like gossiping about whatever the heck we wanted to. Or Anne's nerdy thing that I was just like, uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot.
And then I think we got in some sort of debate. I can't remember what it was about. And somehow we were just like, hey, we should really record a podcast and make people listen to us debate about the things we love and hate. Mm-hmm. That's all I don't actually really remember anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. Like, because I remember we were like, we should do a podcast. And then I think you had asked, you're like, well, what would we talk about? And my immediate reply was just what we love and hate, because it's always so polar opposite. Because I feel like our personalities are similar, but our interests are definitely polar opposites. So yeah. It totally made sense that that's what we could talk about. And it would, obviously we have lots to say about the subject.
It's just never ending.
Exactly. And we kind of settled on the name Love versus Hate right away as well. We actually had we had proposed it to our coworkers, and they kind of helped to brainstorm some additional ideas as well. But we ended up kind of just sticking with Love versus Hate. So
yeah, some of them. What were some of the names? They were like two blondes, some about blondes, and then I was like, well, what if I dye my hair?
Oh, yeah, fair point. I am probably never going to dye my hair, because that's another thing that marks me as an old-fashioned nerd. Like, I don't wear makeup. I've never dyed my hair. I don't have any kind of tattoos. Like, I don't use products, really. I mean, I use shampoo and stuff, but, like, the bare basics, that's what I do.
Hey, guys, I want to do a quick little experiment. Let me know if you think we should Queer Eye makeover Anne. Ooh. Or at least for honestly, an episode.
Yeah, I think
because I'm already gonna do it. It's really no question. I'm just gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
Just at least with the makeup, because I just want to see your skills, Anne, or lack of skills.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be lacking 100%. Because, and again, that was part of my upbringing. Like, my mom never wore makeup, and neither did my sister. So I never learned from anybody. So I was also like, I don't need this.
She was
also,
like,
it gets expensive quickly. Yeah, literally. Marl. So then that's how we started up the podcast. And literally, like, we had the idea, like I said, sometime in July, and within a month we had our first episode up, which I think is actually pretty awesome. Like, we were dedicated from the beginning, and we've only continued to grow and expand, and we want to continue to add like more content and get more content to you guys. So it's going to just keep growing.
Yes. And fun fact, the first episode that we released is actually the first one that we actually recorded, which for a lot of podcasters, they do like a practice run and they don't actually release the first thing that they record. But we actually liked how it turned out. So we were like, meow.
Let's just do it. Yeah, absolutely. And and, we do really want to thank all of you for listening. We do really appreciate it. And without you guys, I don't know if we would still be doing it. So we definitely appreciate the feedback, and we appreciate you guys giving us reviews and engaging on social. We do genuinely love it, and it's super fun. So thank you.
Yeah. I definitely love recording with Anne, but I do think that the most rewarding thing is when you guys interact with us and leave us comments or send us messages. Like, that really brightens our days to see and hear you guys and like what you think, or hey, I really like disagreed with what Emily said, I think Anne's totally right, blah blah blah. It's so fun. So like, please, if there's anything you take away from this episode, please like interact with us and engage with us, because we love it.
Yeah, we really do. And we hope that you guys kind of got to enjoy learning a little bit about Emily and I and how we really became the Nerd and Millennial. And yeah, I just can't wait to see where it's going to go. I've already loved everything about doing this podcast with you so far, Emily, and I'm just excited for all the things we have planned.
Yes, couldn't have said it better.
So I think to wrap us up, Emily, what is your life lesson about, our origin story and our journey?
There's so many that you can take away from like our story and like our friendship, but I think the biggest one for me is that even though somebody like doesn't have the same interests as you, that doesn't mean that you can't become best friends, because Anne and I are completely different. If you would have like just seen our interests on paper, you would have never expected that we would be so close. But it's possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Anne?
I think for me, I just want to encourage people, like, if you are really passionate about something and you want to try something new, like, I think it does make a difference when you can do it with someone that, someone that you really care about, someone that you love, like maybe it is a really close friend or maybe it's a family member or a sibling. Just like, it just makes the journey a lot more fun, and, just find something to talk about. Like, that's what podcasting is. It's conversations. And so, you just have to find that one thing that you really enjoy talking about with someone, and just try it. Like, I really encourage you guys to do it, because it's really fun, and, I think it's fun to try something new with someone that you really love.
Yes. So guys, that concludes our 50th episode. We hope you enjoyed getting to know us a little bit more, and we can't wait for our next 50 or 500 or 1,050. How long will it go? The world will never know.
Yep. Well, only the future knows. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, definitely check out our YouTube. We're going to have some bonus content. We don't know exactly when it'll go up, but it probably won't go up when this episode is released. But either way, it will go up, and we will have some additional bonus content where you can kind of get to know Emily and I a little bit more.
Yeah, and definitely be following us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We will let you know whenever bonus content goes up on our YouTube channel.
And as always, thank you guys so much for listening. We truly, deeply appreciate it. And we will have a new episode for you all next Wednesday.